Hi, welcome to Fratello InnoTech, your ultimate destination for learning latest technologies.
Hello everyone. In this session, I am going to discuss about pivot table. So pivot table is a tool in Excel that summarizes the data. It helps us to count and total or compare information quickly. So we can change the view of the data without changing the original data. So it is a powerful tool used to summarize and analyze and explore and present large amount of data. So we are using the pivot table to save the time on manual calculations and so we can rearrange the data by using the rows and columns, values and filters and so it makes the data analysis easier and interactive and it helps uncover patterns and trends and great for reporting and dashboard creation. So by using the pivot tables, we can create the pivot charts and so we can also create the dashboards and visualization. So to navigate the pivot table, we have to open the Excel and click the Insert tab at the top. So here you can see that. So go to the Insert tab and here we have a pivot table and click the pivot table usually on the left. So choose your data and click OK. So here I have source data. So this is the sales data. So customer ID and customer name and region, product and order date and so sales amount and quantity. So here I am creating the pivot table. So just select the data. So to select the table, we have to use the shortcut Control Shift right arrow and down arrow. So it will select entire table. So just click on the pivot table. So here we have two options from table or range or from external data source. Suppose if you want to create the pivot table for the external data source, you can use this option from external data source. So otherwise you can choose this option from table or range. So here I am creating the pivot table for table range. So then I am clicking table range. So here it shows the pivot table from table or range. So choose where you want to pivot table to be placed here new or if you want to place the pivot table in new worksheet, then click on new worksheet, or if you want to place the pivot table in existing worksheet, then choose existing worksheet. So I'm creating the pivot table in new worksheet. Then I'm clicking OK. So it has opened a new worksheet. So here we have pivot table fields, customer ID and customer name, and suppose I'm calculating some of the total sales by region. So here we have a region in this. Select the column name. So here I'm searching region. So I'm finding the total sales by region. Here it shows the east and north, south, west. So I'm adding total sales. So here we have sales amount. So I'm finding the sales amount region wise. Then I'm selecting the sales amount. So here in the east region it has 1800. And in the north region 3400 and south region 2000 and west region 550. So grand total 7750. Suppose if you want to add with the commas, click on the pivot table. So here we have number format. So in the number format we have to choose the currency here. Just click on the currency. So just I'm selecting this. So 2 decimal places. Then click OK. See that? So we have added the currency. So 7750. So in this way, so every time when you have done modifications, then right click on the pivot table, then refresh every time. So here we have option, refresh option. So then refresh. So again, suppose if you want to find region wise quantity, then just select the pivot table, copy, and I'm pasting here. So here I'm deleting some of the sales amount here. So region wise, so I'm showing quantities. So just delete the some of the sales. So here I'm deleting the sales amount. So just add the quantity. So here in the east region, the product has 5, some of the quantity, and the north region, some of the quantity 4, and south 3, and west 3. Suppose if you want to count this, just right click on this. So here we have option value field settings. So here we have a count option. So by using the pivot table, we can calculate the sum and count, average and minimum, maximum and product. Here we have count. Just select that count of the quantity. Then click OK. So in the east region, 3 quantity, and north 3, and south 2, and west 2. So grand total 10. So we can also give the names for the pivot tables. So just click on the pivot table. So go to the pivot analyze, and here we have so here we have some of the sales amount. So when you have done any modifications, just refresh that pivot table. So here just select this. So it shows pivot table. So here you can give the pivot table names. So some of the sales amount. So some of the sales I have given for this pivot table. Suppose if you want to give this. So here so you can give the name. So count the quantity. So count the quantity I am giving. So in this way we can give the names for the pivot tables. So just click on enter. So it shows the pivot table names. So when you select the pivot table, then it shows the pivot table name, some of the sales here. So in this way we can calculate the sum and count and max, min, product by using the pivot tables. So in the next class we'll discuss how to create the pivot charts by using the pivot tables. So thank you.
Thank you for watching the video. Please like the video and subscribe the channel for live updates. Please visit www.fratelloinitech.com for more courses.